Hi everyone, I'm Jillian Sullivan, and my presentation today is Should There Be Mandatory Licensing for Paralegals? According to NALA, California is currently the only state at the moment regulating paralegals. How do you feel about licensing becoming mandatory? This is a much talked about subject, and I've extensively researched the different options available at the moment so you can make a decision as to if you think the current options are enough or if you think that there should be mandatory licensing. What options are currently available? There's certification through NALA. There's a fee involved, approximately $325 at the moment, and also continuing education credits that need to be done. There's limited licensed legal technician, which is kind of like a step above being a paralegal. It's otherwise known as LLT, and they can do more than a paralegal can on their own, like drafting documents and stuff like that without being supervised by an attorney. ABA certified paralegal, which is very similar to the NALA, where there's a fee involved and also continuing education credits. And another one that's pretty similar, the NFPA certification through the National Federation of Paralegals. Let's look at some of the positive aspects of requiring mandatory licensing. The ability to maintain a certain standard for paralegals, whereas you have a nurse, you know they've been through a certified nursing program and that they've been tested, and that's the standard. There's a standard across the board. Continuing education credits, that's one of the requirements of all the certifications, and with mandatory licensing there would certainly be some form of continuing education credits that need to be taken, and with that it's, you know, that your paralegal is keeping up to date on all the current laws and procedures. There would be more respect from the public because at the moment people see paralegals sometimes as glorified secretaries, and if there was licensing that was required, then they would be seen as a little more than that. Now, with the additional education that needs to be taken, there's usually higher pay that is involved. With LLTs, it could make legal professionals more affordable. Where you want to draft a document such as a will or something like that, you wouldn't need to pay a high attorney fee. You could pay an LLT, which would be slightly higher scale than a paralegal, but they can definitely do more. Now, some of the negative aspects are more government regulations. Higher pay could result in higher fees because the fees have to be passed down to the clients. It would also be more difficult for someone to become a paralegal. Currently, you can work your way up in a law office without the costly expense of college education. You can start off as a secretary and work your way up, and that's great for people that can't afford to go to a college or university. People feel that it's unnecessary because at the moment paralegals are already required to be supervised by a licensed attorney. And also the additional expense, which would be passed on to the taxpayer. There would have to be a bureau that oversees the licensing. So in conclusion, it could improve the paralegal profession, but there's already so many optional opportunities, and with that the attorney can decide whether they require somebody to go through a certain program or not. And do all of the positive aspects outweigh the negative? And that would be for you to decide. Thank you, everyone.